Getting the right amount of magic in your copy without feeling like you're writing over the top or overselling something is a skill that takes practice. And if that doesn't always feel like your strongest suit, then keep watching. Our incredible customer delight manager, Mackenzie, asked me the other day, she said, Ashlyn, how do I get better at writing? She's a great writer, I think. It's full of voice, but I understood what she means because that's all of us, right? I talk about direct response copywriting and persuasive techniques all the time over here, but I realized when Kinsey asked me that I haven't so much unpacked my process before, specifically how terrible things look before I put them out in the world. So today, what I'm doing is talking through the 4 parts of my writing process. This video is chock full of tweaks that you can make today in your copy. Think of this as the Carrie Underwood legs workout, but for your copy. By the way, if we've not yet met, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I'm a conversion, copywriter, and brand and launch strategist for creative entrepreneurs. I'm here to help you make more money with your words because not knowing what to say or how to say it should not be the thing holding you back from making sales. Click that like button if you want your copy to have a little bit more of that muscle tone. While you're there, hit subscribe and the bell next to it. Let's get into the tips. So the first phase of my writing process, any writing process, is the mindset phase. Technically, in academic settings, it's called the pre-writing phase, but I hate that word because I don't like it, and that's reason enough. I'm saying mindset because that's what it is. It's approaching what you're writing. It's getting your head in the game, getting serious and concrete about what you're writing and why. Like our old sport friend F. Scott Fitzgerald said, you don't write because you want to say something. You write because you have something to say. I have 2 tips to doing this. The first one is that I want you to dignify your reader's time. It's like your mom told you when she said, no one's worried about you, darling. Everybody's concerned about themselves. Kind of true here. Your reader and your reader's life are the center of their universe. So I want you to approach everything, whether it is a landing page, an inquiry response, an email template. Approach it all with these letters in mind, WIIFM. What's in it for me? Whomever's on the other side of what you're writing about, this is the lens they're looking through. See if you can catch yourself the next time you're scrolling through your email on your phone. When you're going through your email, you're thinking things like, what do I need out of this one? Is this interesting to me? Do I need this soon? Delete, keep, oh, click over to there. You're thinking through your own lens. That's one mindset shift I want you to have in your backpack. The second one, you need to dummy proof the action or the to-do. But record scratch, before you can tell somebody what to do and make it clear to them, you've got to make it clear to yourself first. This takes forcing yourself before you write anything to write at the top, goal, colon, what it is. Force yourself to think through before you write. Copywriting for creative students, you know before every single page of your web copy we write the goal at the top. Whenever my team and I are writing email funnels, even in email funnel templates that we have in the Copy Bar shop, I always have a section at the top that says goal and then what I want them to do after they read this email. Pillar piece content template, same thing. What do I want them to do when they watch this video, read this blog? I even said this yesterday to a student on an audit call. I was reading a piece of copy that she had and I kept asking, but what do you want them to do with this? Like, what is the purpose of this? We can't be writing to pat our own ego or to explain our philosophy and our process. We need to write from the standpoint of we want to convince somebody to do something. Attorneys, y'all are very good at this. Whenever I've run into a legal issue and I go and I explain my problem and what I need help with to my attorney, she says very calmly, okay, and what is the best outcome that you would like to happen? I'm so glad she asks that. It forces me to think. This is a tiny tip, but one way that you can put this into practice is start ending your emails, whether it's back and forth with your team or vendors or even with clients, end it with a question or some kind of action or just tell them what to do. Don't say, let me know what you think or I look forward to hearing from you. That's so vague. That's not dummy proofed. You need to tell them what you want. Here is a business email that I'm sending, and I want to show you what I mean because I'm the queen of typing sentences and having to rearrange them. So this is an email. My mom has traditionally handled client gifting. Mackenzie's going to start handling it because she's managing all customer service. So facilitating that handoff is what I'm trying to get accomplished in this email. So as I was writing, I want to know what the current inventory is, what items we have. It sounds like Waterford's used up. I don't think we have any pad folios currently, right? That's not really a question. I was just going to say, I probably didn't need to say that. But look what I mean. Instead of, I need to copy this and bring this to the front, current inventory. I'm going to also bold Inventory. It sounds like whatever I don't even your portfolio is. Here's my question. Well, actually, I'm not going to bold this. I do this sometimes too. Bold the question at the end. See, and now it's stronger because it's the end. Sometimes back and forth. Then people can like add their comments in another color. Just little helpful things. So, and this is going to be handoff. If we, what would you have? It seems like we were far more. Okay, so see, it's kind of like word salad right now. So I'm going to take this sentence. Handoff. These are my thoughts. It seems most productive. Have you managed shipments up to handoff? Hints are after, you know how, or I try to say, does that make sense too much? I need to not do that when I talk. I also do it sometimes in email. What would you recommend? So there's the second sentence. Okay, see what I mean? How that's a lot stronger. And then I can sign off. Let's see. The way of the road. What is the screen really? Road 50 minutes in. Okay. I could add something here, even if I said something like, thank you. Actually, let's add, now I'm tempted to say, if you wouldn't mind letting us know, that'd be great, but that's not what I need to do. So you need to say, can you let me know those two answers when you get a sec? Thanks. Okay. That's what I mean. Okay, now that you have those mindset shifts made, let's go to phase 2, the first draft phase, sloppy copy phase, whatever you want to call it. And I'm about to get a little gross here with an analogy, but if I say it this way, you are going to remember it. So I'm going to do it. Anne Handley says this phase feels like show up, throw up, and that is how it feels. I could give you all the pretty ways and analogies for this, but the first phase of getting whatever's jumbled up in your head out on paper doesn't feel good. It doesn't look good, but it has to happen. Maybe someone's out there that loves the first draft phase, but usually it's ugly. It's hard to look at. It's not coming together quite yet. It feels like drudgery, ball and chain. You'll resist it. You'll think of a season of something that you need to watch or something that needs to be organized or a nap you need to take with your dogs, which has never been me. But you've got to push through this phase. This, to me, is the very hardest. And once you get through this, it's much smoother sailing. A couple of tips I want to throw in. These weren't on my script, but I like to do this first phase when I'm a little more creative, whether it's like 4 or 5 in the morning or late at night. I like to just make myself comfortable and go for it. I come to the table, I'm not withholding any judgment about my writing, I'm just getting it out. Just get it all out. Once it's out and you can see it, then you can start to move it around. Great copy is not written, it's assembled, and we need to move things around, but we can't do that if we can't see it first. When you're writing your first draft, I want you to expect to write out of order, or expect that you're gonna have to reorder your work, however you wanna think about it. You're probably not going to come out of the gate writing in the logical order that somebody else needs to look at the message and understand. That's not how it works. Handley also had this quote that I loved. Very often the people you think are good writers are terrible writers on their first draft, but here's their secret. They're excellent editors of their own work. Another tip here, because this is the judgment-free zone of your writing, don't worry about being funny or witty or cool or whatever in your writing. Don't worry about sprinkling in GIFs or exclamation points or emojis and all that kind of stuff. If you're trying to formulate your points or the argument at the same time you're trying to add in humor or whatever, it gets a little weaker. What I mean is that you want to make sure that the message or the copy can stand on its own. It's got strong enough legs to stand up without the crutches of funniness or just jumbled mess in there. Okay, now is the most fun phase, the third phase, revising. This is the most fun part of writing because this is when, now that all of the, we'll use the word clay now, is out there and on the table, you can look at it and shape it and form it a little bit, step back, have a look, go in, add a few more details, and that's fun. This is where your personality gets to come in. One of the first things I do is swap outs. This is like the strength training part, but for your words. I want you to try to nix to be verbs as often as you can. I mean Amazar, was, were, be, being, been. And instead, use verbs that you can see, verbs that have muscle tone. Pop in action verbs in your search engine, you'll see what I mean. You can also, though, use verbs that illustrate the action more. Instead of throw it away, say ditch. Don't say put, say etched. Instead of go, try something like zip or trod. Don't say get, say harness. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you can use thesaurus.com. Use it often. Mine is constantly up in a tab being used for something. By the way, I've thought to do a video before on different tools I like to use as a writer. If you think that would be helpful, comment below and I'll add it to the queue. My other swap out I make is with specifics. Specificity makes your copy snappier, stickier, more credible, and even wittier at times. The concept is nothing new. There was an early 20th century educator. Her name was Mari Applegate. She wrote a great poem called Be Specific. Look it up, it's wonderful. But being specific in your copy is one of the best ways you can give that HGTV show before and after pop. Don't say drinks, say pineapple spindrift. Don't say goo or gunk, say melted craft single. Instead of shorts, knee-length duckhead shorts. Don't say walk, say swished. All of these are examples I caught at a comedian's show that I went to recently, and I noticed that's what made it so fun to listen to, because she was making everything concrete. Nix ambiguity in favor of specific copy. Next tip, stack in the subject first. Say that to yourself if you need to. Stack in the subject first. Let me show you what I mean. A lot of times I edit work from students where I'm flipping the sentence around because there was this big phrase with a comma and then they actually say what they are trying to say in the sentence. I need you to reorder that. One final note about the revision process, at least for me in my writing, this is when the wit comes in and I can have a little bit more fun because I understand now how the argument has been formed. But like I said, I don't want to use that as a crutch. By the way, if as I'm talking you're thinking there are some great little swap outs and phrases and words that Ashlyn said here and I want a place to put all these, good news, I have something called the Copy Bank Kit inside the Copy Bar. It's a tool I use all the time when I hear something or see a word that I want to use. I don't have a place for it yet. How do I give it a home in the interim? This is what I use. Look down below and you can grab that link. The final phase, the editing phase, this is the Miranda Priestley level of writing. You knew I was going to sneak in a Devil Wears Prada reference. But think about when things came to her on her desk and she would take her glasses and look down her nose at them. I want you to be a little more ruthless at this level. And one of my best tips for that is to look at something with fresh eyes the next day. I'm going to go into that in just a sec. That said, I've got 4 essential hacks here. The first one, reread it as the reader. I just mentioned fresh eyes. I can't do this usually on the same day. Obviously, some things have to get out in your business on the same day, but if you can afford to, look at something the next day. If it's a big pitch or certainly any type of web copy, landing copy, email funnel copy, look at it later and you'll have a different perspective. Sometimes I also role play and think of somebody in my audience by name, like someone I know, I have her name and I put her name in there and I act like I'm reading it as her. What would she think about it? Is it clear? Next, delete any pretentious, made up, or $10 words that may have snuck in. This is all a matter of taste, but I don't like words like value add, best practices, core competencies. Some of those words you see made fun of in business memes. That's what I mean. And as far as made up words, I'm talking like synergy, or we're gonna solutionier something. I'm probably gonna get flack for this one, but mamapreneur, artistpreneur, those kind of things. Next, install and use Grammarly. It is such an easy tip. You can get by on the free tool far along. I went 5 years before I invested in the full tool. Specifically, I want you to use this to catch your passive voice. Let me flip the camera around and show you what I mean. So right now what you're looking at is me working on the script for the video that you're watching right now. I'm doing all these tips. I'm writing out of order. I never write the beginning first. It's just like a thought up there. This, by the way, is my pillar piece content template. I still use it too. Okay, so what I want to show you is what passive voice is, and I want to show you Grammarly. So I have Grammarly, and I'm just like, this is a first draft, so show up, throw up. I'm just getting it out there. But I do have Grammarly turned on because I wanted you to see some of the things that it's telling me. Obviously, it says this needs a comma. Reread it now as you're acting it there. This can be unclear or hard to follow. Consider. See how helpful this is? What is this? Oh, it thinks it's 2 sentences. Interesting. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you, though. What passive voice is. Let me X this out. The best example I have of passive voice, you know that sentence, in good times were had by all. This is passive voice because we talked earlier about flipping the subject and the verb. That's what's going on here is we've got the object at the beginning the subject over here and the verb right here. So let's see, it'll catch it, I bet. Let me do a space just to make sure it does. Here it is. Okay, I knew it would get it. Rewrite an active voice. Okay, so all had good times. Do you see the difference there? So I just want you to be aware that passive voice exists. I don't want to get too like grammar-y for some people, because some people don't like that kind of stuff. Those of us do. But if you can at least just get Grammarly plugged in on your computer, then that'll help you start replacing that, because it'll call it out for you and you don't have to worry about trying to remember what it is and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and last up, I want you to employ what I call the $100 edit test. Pretend that I'm sitting beside you next time you're writing something and I got a stack of $100 bills, and for every word you can take out, I'm gonna give you a $100 bill. This is gonna help you delete redundant words. Be ruthless in your editing. Every sentence needs to bring something new to the table. You'll notice sometimes even in my videos or you're listening to someone talk, they'll say something a couple of different ways to make sure you can understand what they're saying. In writing, you don't always have that luxury. You need to just make every sentence work for it. Two places I see this a lot are the paragraph. Sometimes there is just fluff and you're saying a lot of word salad in the first paragraph. I've mentioned before, you want to drop your reader into the rising action. You don't need to give this forever long wind up where your arm's going around and around. Just pitch the ball. I also want you to delete pointless words. I'm going to put a whole list of them over here on the side. I mean words like first and foremost and when it comes down to it, in today's world. Like, what other world are you talking about? According to, even phrases like, I believe that, or it's my opinion. I had a speaking coach, shout out to Jess, one time tell me, stop saying I think, or I believe, or in my opinion. She said, just say what you think. I liked that. The purpose of this email, or course, or freebie. At which time, just say when. In order to, just say to. And my very favorite one of all, utilize. Freaking just say use. Writing is easy, Mark Twain said. All you have to do is cross out the wrong words. LOL, if only. It's a little more involved than that, but at least I hope this video gave you some good tips to strengthen your writing. If you're learning how to write more magnetic copy and this is starting to open your eyes, don't miss out on that copy bank kit. Again, look below, you can grab the link to it. If you like this video, let me know by clicking the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also please comment what is your favorite made-up word, word salad word, jargon word. We can make a list and share. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.